Right, so this is Metal Perv TV and we're here with Trivax, and they just played a blinder. They were the last band on, and they absolutely fucking brutalised it. Give us a quick run through your set list. What's the name of the songs that you played?
Well, the opening track was one of ours, of Stone and Flesh. There's a fairly recent one that was written, followed by Chaos Under Order, which is a slightly old one now, followed by Set the Torch, which is the title track of our recently released EP.
First track that Trivax ever made.
First one we played.
And then we did Wormwood, which is on the new material, which in my opinion can dominate the whole genre, and I'm fairly sure at some point it will.
Great. So what's the names of the members of the band?
Well, I'm Shia Ness, I'm the frontman and the composer, and Mr. Sheldon, guitar, backing vocals.
And obviously two lads that aren't here.
We've got Matt on drums and Phil on live guitar.
Okay, brilliant. How long have you guys been together?
Nearly 2 years now. In December it'll be 2 years.
Yeah, Trivax started first. These guys were doing heavy metal tribute bands when they were kids. So Ben and Matt, the drummer, they know each other since they were little kids. I started Trivax under the name of Trivax back in Iran in 2009 as a one-man black metal band. And then I continued it, and there was a lot of problems and a lot of hell-raising within the band. And obviously metal is banned in Iran, you know, so there's a lot of problems and things like that, you know. And the actual genre that we were playing as Trivax back in Iran wasn't so... it wasn't so much like what we are doing now, but I think the essence of it was, you know, it was fairly harsh because of the surroundings of the band at the time, you know, because of, for example, you know, we could be caught, you know, playing our instruments, you know, and police could break in any moment and break the instruments and arrest us and cut our hair.
Is that what they would do? Would they actually cut your hair and
yes,
like
I've actually had friends
try to make you conform?
Yes. I know many people, for example, Mr. Ali Madashari, the vocalist of Arsames. He's like 44 years old. He's one, he's one of the oldest metal heads, you know, or metal icons of Iran, and he's had that happen to him many times, even in the recent years, you know, with all the experience he's got and everything. And with ourselves, it was the same. I knew of some of my friends who were playing like Metallica covers in their basement. The police broke in and took all of their stuff. And inside the band in Trivax, you know, we actually had a lot of problems anyway. I mean, at some point the drummer and the bass player, they got in a fight, and the bass player stabbed the drummer in the neck with a scissor, and the drummer bit off his skin, which the doctors later thought it was a dog or something. That's how bad it was. He was also on drugs, so, you know, it was really bad. Right now, we're a lot more balanced. I mean, like, I moved here 2 years ago, and I was very lucky enough to have this brilliant lineup to come here and sort of influence the heavy metal tribute bands they were doing into something, to a completely chaotic force, which it is today and is going to be.
Brilliant. Yeah, I really enjoyed what I saw, and it's good to see. It's good to see people as young as yourselves playing as well as you are. So, any merch that's out and available for people to get hold of, like i.e. CDs and then T-shirts and hoodies and things like that?
Well, we've only had a Set the Torch EP out currently, which the reason why we even put it out in the first place was because, again, going back to Iran, those were all the material that I wrote when I was back in Iran, when I was 15, 16 years old, you know. So this was sort of like a homage to the past. That's why we released it in the first place. Right now we are working on some new material. There should be some new EP coming soon, and whenever we get some good deal and a bit, you know, we get a bit of grip of the underground following, we should be recording our first album, and that will definitely turn a lot of heads, fuck up a lot of people, hopefully.
Excellent. So is there nothing in the way of T-shirts and hoodies for people to get hold of? Or?
Not at the minute. We have our designer who is designing some stuff for us. So Woven Claws, and he's very good. We are working on some future stuff for him. So we will have some shirts soon. available soon. So if you check out Trivax's Facebook page, we don't have a website yet, you know. We don't really like Facebook that much, but if you check it, we have most of our updates there. So whenever it is ready, you'll probably see it there.
Excellent, excellent. So, what was the other questions I was going to ask? Well, my brain's all over the place today. Yeah, so have you got any more gigs lined up for the future? Either up north or heading down to London?
We have been working on new material, like for example Wormwood, which we played tonight. Last night was our first show with sort of the new Trivax that we have become in the past few months, and which was in Birmingham Asylum. And then tonight we played with Avon Furies and Northern Oak, which were very good musicians, you know, and good people. And so for now we don't actually have any gigs booked, so you can I don't know, keep in touch with us, and we'll come and destroy everything. And hopefully there will be loads or many gigs next year, or as I would like to call them, concerts. Gig is a bit.
So where do you get your influences from? Like what inspires your writing and the style that you play?
Well, comes from all over the place. I mean, there are bands we listen to that inspire us, but a lot of it can be quite internal and comes straight from us, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
For example, we love bands like Dissection, Bathory, Watain, and then classics, Black Sabbath, you know, all stuff like that. It all inspires us in some way, shape or form, you know.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that we get influenced a lot by bands, as Ben mentioned, you know, I mean, Iron Maiden would be another great example, not necessarily musically, but the sort of mindset that these bands have, and you know, how to think like them to write certain music, you know. That's how we get results like songs like Wormwood, you know. I mean, I'm pretty sure when that song goes out, you know, a lot of people will be on their knees. So that's sort of how we think, but when it comes to the actual sound, there are many bands that we listen to. I mean, you know, like classic metal bands, you know. I could listen to a pop band and start writing the most extreme riff and the most destructive melodies, you know. So it really depends.
What about like lyrically? What sort of things do you?
Lyrically?
Yeah.
Well, lyrically, Trivax is sort of... one thing that I can say about Trivax, which I'm kind of proud of, is that it's not exactly religious, because we sort of try to keep that to ourselves personally, you know. I mean, sometimes we don't even talk about it so much in between the band, you know, because it's a very personal thing, you know, for each and every one of us. But sometimes, of course, it slips out, you know, and for example, songs like Of Stone and Flesh, or Set the Torch, you know, Set the Torch was the first song that we wrote as Trivax, I mean, like, in the UK, and it's, that song, you know, it's got a little bit in there, but it's not religious, I say that, but it's mostly about fucking up the earth, but from a very different angle that a lot of people look at it, you know. I mean, a lot of people, I mean, it's from a much higher point of view and from an angle that maybe a lot of people aren't exactly familiar with it, because people don't think.
Interesting. So when would you be like the material that you're writing, when would you be looking to release it by? Like what would be kind of like a date for people to look forward to?
Well, we haven't even started recording, so the actual material is ready for us. It's just finding some good studio, because we had some problems. I mean, the Set the Torch EP that we released, we actually started recording that last year, this time in November. So the material is quite old, as I said. And, you know, we got fucked over by by the deals we had for the recordings and everything. So we pretty much, the whole EP is recorded in Mr. Sheldon's living room.
Okay.
It was a really obscure experience, although it may not sound like that, you know. It sounds a bit too modern, you know, and we hate it, but it's still our music, you know. That's the thing with Trivax. Doesn't matter if you use, I don't know, the best PV amplifier, or if you use a $10 amp from some stupid shop that Niflheim buys stuff from. If you know, our music will still stay the same thing. It will have the same impact, and you know, it's much more about the art rather than the actual sound. But to answer your question about the album, it'll probably be sometime next year.